Hello everyone, my name is Tyler and welcome to AI Football Prediction Lab, Europe's most trusted football prediction channel. The football season in Europe has now truly begun. The English Premier League, France's Ligue 1 and Spain's La Liga will all kick off starting this Friday, while Serie A and the Bundesliga will follow 1 week later. To fill the gap for these two leagues, we've included the Turkish Super Lig this week, and we're also covering the German Super Cup final for you. So in total, we'll go through 20 games across these leagues. Please remember, this is a public video, meaning everyone can watch. However, to watch all the prediction and analysis videos we share on our channel, you should join our channel for a very small fee by clicking the Join button. For example, the matches played on Sunday and Monday, as well as next week's UEFA Champions League playoff games, will be available exclusively to our premium members. For viewers in regions where the Join button is not available, you can subscribe to our Patreon page, using the link below to access all content available to premium members. Unlike our usual videos, this one will not include our top predictions segment at the end. The top predictions for this video, along with our bold predictions, featuring high odds surprise picks, will be shared exclusively with our premium members. Having said that, let's return to our football expert Luca and hear what he has to say about these 20 games.
Hello everyone, Luca here. As Tyler mentioned, I've analysed 20 exciting matches taking place this Friday and Saturday across the top leagues, and I'm here with my predictions. We'll start with the German Super Cup final, then move on to the Premier League, La Liga, France's Ligue 1, and the Turkish Super Lig matches. So let's not waste any time and get started. In the German Super Cup, Stuttgart will take on giants Bayern Munich. Stuttgart finished last season in mid-table with inconsistent performances, but they still managed to end the campaign on a positive note by winning the German Cup. They haven't made any major signings apart from a defender signed from Rennes. They also haven't had much of a pre-season, playing only 2 friendly matches before starting the season. Bayern Munich's situation is a bit different. They were eliminated by Paris Saint-Germain in the FIFA Club World Cup, but they have won all of their pre-season games since then. With the arrival of Luis Diaz, their attacking power has increased even further. However, they will be without Musiala for this match, which is a significant absence. Bayern Munich are the favourites to win this match, but my prediction is that there will be no goal in the first 10 minutes. Finals are always different from regular league matches, and I believe Stuttgart will try to slow Bayern down in the early stages. Therefore, I don't expect a goal in the opening 10 minutes of this important final. Next up is the Premier League, where the opening match of the season will be between Liverpool and Bournemouth. Liverpool are undoubtedly Europe's transfer champions this summer, even though the transfer window is still open. They've spent heavily and brought in some top-quality players, and 2 of them, Ekitike and Frimpong, both scored in their last match against Crystal Palace. Wirtz also put in a strong performance. However, despite all these signings, Liverpool suffered a cold wake-up call in the Community Shield final, losing to Crystal Palace on penalties. It was a reminder that winning against any Premier League side is never easy. Bournemouth, on the other hand, were one of the standout teams in last year's Premier League. This summer, they sold several players, making significant revenue, especially from the departures of 2 or 3 key defenders. But their attacking power remains intact, and they still have plenty of quality going forward. I don't think Liverpool will slip up in their first home game of the season in front of their fans. Bournemouth may still find the net because of their attacking strength, but even if Liverpool concede, I expect them to find a way to win. On Saturday, the first Premier League match will be between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. The match will be played at Aston Villa's home ground, and given that Villa missed out on the Champions League last season purely because Newcastle finished ahead of them on goal difference, they might see this game as a chance for revenge and look to start strongly in front of their fans. However, Newcastle are far from a weak side. For this match, Newcastle will be missing Gordon through injury, and Isak's situation is uncertain as he could leave the club. This could make it more difficult for them to create chances in attack. On the other hand, Aston Villa have also lost some attacking power, with Rashford leaving the team and Asensio returning to Paris Saint-Germain after his loan spell ended. Still, both teams have largely kept their core squads intact. My prediction is that Aston Villa will not score 3 goals in this match. The last time Newcastle conceded 3 goals was actually against Aston Villa back on April 19th, and since then, no team has managed to put 3 past them, and Newcastle will not allow that to happen again. I believe Newcastle will approach this game aiming for a draw and play with a more defensive mindset. With their solid defensive midfield, I don't see Newcastle conceding 3 goals in this opening match. Next up is Brighton versus Fulham. Brighton were one of the teams that played some of the most enjoyable football last season and were dominant at home, suffering only 3 defeats on their own ground, so their home record can't be overlooked. During this transfer window, however, they have lost 2 or 3 key players. The most important departures were forwards João Pedro and Adingra, as well as Estupiñán, who joined AC Milan. They will look to replace these players with younger talents. Their current average squad age is around 23-24. Fulham, on the other hand, have not made many transfers and have kept their core squad intact, a team made up of players who know each other well. My prediction is that Brighton will not score 3 goals in this match. Yes, most experts see Brighton as favourites here because they're playing at home and play a high-tempo style. They might well win this match, but I don't think Fulham, with their experienced and well-connected squad, will concede 3 goals in this first away match at Brighton. Next up, Sunderland versus West Ham. Sunderland completed last season like a fairy tale, earning promotion to the Premier League. They are a team that plays very well at home. Ahead of their Premier League return, they have made some big signings such as Diarra, Adingra and Xhaka, all significant additions that improve their quality. West Ham, meanwhile, are a side I expect to do better compared to last season. They have strengthened almost every area of the pitch. I anticipate many of their matches this season to be low-scoring, as they are a team that often relies on set pieces to score. My prediction for this match is that Sunderland will score at least 1 goal. In their first Premier League home match, in front of their passionate fans and with their new signings, Sunderland will want to make a statement. Scoring 2 or 3 against West Ham won't be easy, but I believe they will find at least 1 goal. There's no doubt Tottenham will have a much better season compared to last year's league campaign, and they already showed that with their performance against Paris Saint-Germain in the recent Super Cup, even though they conceded a late equaliser and lost the trophy on penalties. Their opponents are newly promoted Burnley, whose main goal will be to stay in the league. What they achieved in the championship last season was remarkable. They played 46 matches and conceded only 16 goals. We might never see such statistics again. A big part of that success was down to goalkeeper Trafford, who has since moved to Manchester City. Even so, under Scott Parker's management, Burnley will aim to keep their defensive strength and use it to survive in the Premier League. My prediction is Burnley +3 handicap. Yes, it's a little risky because Tottenham, with their new manager and new signings, will want to start fast at home, but the midweek fatigue from the Super Cup final, along with the disappointment of that result, and Burnley's strong defensive structure, make me believe Burnley will avoid losing this match by 3 or more goals. On Saturday, the final Premier League match, will see Wolverhampton host Manchester City. In the Premier League, playing away from home is always challenging, even for Manchester City. Wolves have made some smart signings this season. They may not have brought in star names, but they have added some of last season's very promising young talents to their squad. In addition, they signed Arias from Fluminense, a more experienced player who impressed in the FIFA Club World Cup. Manchester City, of course, have also strengthened their squad with key additions and will be looking to start the season with a win. Most experts expect them to take all 3 points, but I don't think it will be an easy match. Rather than predicting a straight Manchester City win, my pick for this match is for there to be at least 1 goal in the first half. I also think Manchester City could concede here, as I still believe they have some defensive issues. Now it's time for La Liga. In the season opener, Girona, who battled relegation last season, will host Rayo Vallecano. Just 2 seasons ago, Girona were in contention for the title at one stage, but last season they came dangerously close to the drop zone. This year, they are determined not to repeat that struggle. They have made some strong signings such as Witsel, Thomas Lemar, and Reis from Manchester City, and have also enjoyed a solid pre-season. Rayo Vallecano, on the other hand, had a successful campaign last year and have tried to maintain the balance of their squad. My prediction for this match is total goals between 2 and 3. I expect to see at least 2, but no more than 3 goals. I'm not anticipating a low-scoring game, but I also don't see it turning into a high-scoring shootout. In La Liga's second match on Friday evening, Villarreal will face Real Oviedo. Villarreal finished 5th last season, securing a place in the Champions League once again. They have lost some important players, but tried to maintain their squad balance with key signings, including Partey. I believe we'll see them competing in the upper half of the table again this season, most likely within the top 5, as they have kept their balance and are now a more experienced side. Real Oviedo, meanwhile, were promoted from the second division last season. One of the emotional storylines in this match will be Santi Cazorla, the 41-year-old who grew up at Villarreal, facing his former club. My prediction is Villarreal to win. Oviedo didn't look bad during pre-season, but I expect Villarreal to start the season strongly and take all 3 points at home in front of their fans. In La Liga's first match on Saturday, the reigning champions Barcelona will face Mallorca. Barcelona are still riding the momentum from last season's title win and are aiming to stay at the top and become champions again. During pre-season, they went on an Asia tour and played several high-scoring matches. Most recently, they defeated Como 5-0 at home in a cup match. They were not very active in the transfer market, nor did they need to be, but the arrival of Marcus Rashford has given a significant boost to their attacking power. Mallorca, meanwhile, caused quite a few surprises last season by picking up points in big matches. They are a solid defensive side, and beating them away from home is never easy, even for Barcelona. Their target this season will once again be to finish in the top 10, and they have kept their core squad intact. My prediction is at least 1 goal in the first half. Barcelona's attacking power is unquestionable. They have the quality to score against any team, anywhere, and finding the net before halftime would not be surprising. However, their high defensive line also leaves them vulnerable to counterattacks, which is another reason why I expect to see at least 1 goal in the first half. Next up is Alves versus Levante. Alves spent most of last season in the relegation zone, but managed to survive by collecting crucial points in the final weeks. They don't want to experience the same scenario again this year, but their pre-season form has not been convincing, and they have also lost a few key players. Levante, on the other hand, finished top of the Segunda Division last season, earning direct promotion to La Liga. They recorded good results in their pre-season matches, but they didn't face many strong opponents. With many players coming in and going out, there could be some chemistry issues in the early weeks. With their La Liga experience, I don't think Alves will lose this match, so my prediction is Alves double chance. I believe they will at least avoid defeat in their first home game of the season. The last match in La Liga on Saturday is between Valencia and Real Sociedad. This can be described as a meeting between 2 evenly matched sides. Valencia had a nightmare first half of last season, but from March onwards they collected enough points to move clear of the relegation zone. This season they have sold some key players such as Machero to Arsenal and another to PSV, and they could face some defensive issues. Real Sociedad, meanwhile, did not have a particularly outstanding season last year, but they still have quality players. They also sold Zubimendi to Arsenal, but have managed to keep the rest of their core squad intact. I expect this to be a balanced match. My prediction is under 10.5 corners. I don't think we will see 11 or more corners because both teams are unlikely to heavily use the wings to deliver crosses that lead to corners. I expect more of a midfield battle, which should limit the number of corner kicks. Now it's time for France's Ligue 1. The season opener will be between Rennes and Marseille. Last year, Rennes finished mid-table and struggled with consistency. This season, their goal is to qualify for European competitions. They have made important signings in defence and midfield, but have been relatively quiet in attack. Their pre-season results were also not particularly impressive. Marseille, on the other hand, finished second last season and have made some excellent signings during the summer transfer window. If things go very well for them, they could even challenge Paris Saint-Germain for the title, although that will be extremely difficult. Still, with their summer reinforcements, Marseille look like PSG's main rivals this season. My prediction is Marseille to win or draw. Winning away from home is never easy, but with their strong squad, I believe Marseille will at least secure a draw in this match. The first match in France on Saturday will be between Lens and Lyon. Lens finished 8th last season and have added some experienced players to their squad. They had a good pre-season and showed that they can be effective in front of goal. Lyon, on the other hand, finished 6th last season, but this year could be even more challenging for them. They have lost some key players and have been dealing with serious financial problems. At one point, there were even concerns about possible relegation. My prediction is both teams to score. It's the first match of the season, and both teams will be looking to make a strong start. I expect goals from both sides, as they have nothing to lose. Next up is Monaco versus Le Havre. Monaco will play their first home match of the season against Le Havre, who only narrowly avoided relegation last year. Monaco finished 3rd in the league last season and this year they have kept their core squad while adding some important reinforcements such as Ansu Fati and Pogba. They also had an excellent pre-season. Alongside Marseille, Monaco could cause Paris Saint-Germain plenty of problems this season. Le Havre will want to avoid a repeat of last season's relegation battle, but in this match, their chances look slim. My prediction is Monaco to win. I believe Monaco, even if their home crowd is not the most vocal, will still start the season with a win in front of their fans. On Saturday, the closing match in France will be between Nice and Toulouse. Nice finished 4th last season, earning a place in the Champions League playoffs, but they couldn't make much of an impact against Benfica, simply because they are not yet at that level of quality. Still, they had a good pre-season, and playing in those Champions League qualifiers means they come into Ligue 1 better prepared than many of their rivals. Toulouse, on the other hand, finished mid-table last season. They have lost some key players, and it may take time for them to find the right balance again. For this reason, my prediction is that Nice will score at least 1 goal in this match. Nice are currently a more prepared team than Toulouse, and they should be able to start the season in front of their fans by finding the net at least once. They also created several chances in the Benfica match at home. In the Turkish Super Lig, the season already started last week, and this is the second round of matches. In Friday's opening match, Galatasaray will face Karagümrük. Karagümrük earned promotion from the 2nd division through the playoffs last season. They are an Istanbul-based club. Last week, their match was postponed, so this will actually be their first game of the season. They have made a few notable signings during the transfer window. Galatasaray, on the other hand, are a team far above the league's general level, a very strong side with big-name players such as Icardi, Osimhen, Leroy Sané, and Torreira. However, Osimhen and Icardi will not be available for this match. My prediction is that Galatasaray will score at least 1 goal in the first half. They are a Champions League level team and have made important signings this summer. In their first home game of the season, I expect them to start fast and find the net at least once before the break. On Saturday, the first match in the Turkish Super Lig will be between Kocaelispor and Samsunspor. Kocaelispor have been promoted to the league this season, but they are one of the most historic clubs in Turkish football, with a very passionate fan base. Samsunspor, on the other hand, had a great season last year, finishing 3rd, ahead of Besiktas, and earning a spot in European competitions. Kocaelispor lost 2-1 away to Trabzonspor last week, but they will now be aiming to pick up points in this match. Their opponents are strong, and while I'm not sure if Kocaelispor can win, my prediction is that they will score at least 1 goal at home. Samsunspor are a very strong side, so it's a tough match to predict, but I believe Kocaelispor will find the net. In another match, Alanyaspor will face Rizespor. Alanyaspor were supposed to play Fenerbahce last week, but their match was postponed due to Fenerbahce's European competition fixture. As a result, this will be their first league game, so there's not much information about their current form. Rizespor, on the other hand, suffered an unexpected 3-0 home defeat last week. They will certainly be more careful in this match. Considering Rizespor's focus on avoiding another heavy loss and the fact that this is Alanyaspor's first match of the season, I expect both teams to start cautiously. My prediction is that there will be no goal in the first 15 minutes, as the teams will likely spend the opening phase feeling each other out. In Saturday's closing match, Göztepe will face Fenerbahce. For those who don't know, Göztepe are an Aegean side from the city of Izmir with a very passionate fan base. Playing away against them is never easy, and they are not a bad team at all. In fact, they started the season strongly, beating Rizespor 3-0 in their first match. However, their opponents Fenerbahce are a team well above the league's general level. In the Champions League qualifiers, they recently scored 5 goals at home, showing their attacking power. The squad includes big names such as Milan Skriniar, Fred, Nelson Semedo, Amrabat, John Duran, and En-Nesyri, players widely known across Europe. And of course, they are led by Jose Mourinho. I believe this confident, although slightly fatigued, Fenerbahce side will still manage to beat Göztepe away from home. My prediction is Fenerbahce to win this match. With this match, we've now covered all 20 games. Thank you for listening. Remember, from these matches, our most trusted picks are shared as top predictions, exclusively for our premium members. You can become a premium member for a very small fee and gain access to all of these predictions. Please note, the next 2 videos will be available exclusively to premium members. From all of us at AI Football Prediction Lab, sending you lots of love.